Welcome to the fucking show.
Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to another great LTS show. I am your host, Bodkins. Oh, man. This is officially, we have entered the official dead period of sports, folks. The official dead. This is what I'm watching tonight. I know there's this big debate thing kind of going on that I should probably pay attention to, but you know, I don't give a fuck about that. Two old fucks, old crippled fucks arguing about dumb shit. I don't care. So I'm watching Copa America. I don't even know the two teams playing. I think it's Uruguay and I don't really know, Bolivia maybe. I don't know. It just says URU and then it's BOL. So I don't know. That's what I'm watching. That's what we're down to tonight, folks. We're watching that. And this is probably going to be more entertaining. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. The presidential debate is probably more entertaining, but it's probably more depressing. I would think that. And this is going to be my last take on the presidential debate. I always feel like when people ask me my political party or whatever, I always say this, to each his own. I don't really care. But we're the United States of America. This is the best we fucking have, is these two old crippled fucks, these two geriatric fucks. That's the best we have. I mean, that can't be it. So I feel like that's all I'm going to say about that. But nonetheless, we do got a lot we got some stuff to talk about tonight. We'll talk a little of the NBA draft. I was sitting through the draft a little bit last night, and I felt like Conor McGregor, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then the next pick came, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Sam's already got guys. I don't know what Sam's paying people these days, but saying Mr. First Down's the GOAT. We all know that's, if you've been watching the program long enough, we all know that's a lie. So, but there's that. But that's how I felt about the NBA draft tonight. This afternoon, Bronny gets, the definition of nepotism happened today in the NBA, and that was LeBron James making sure his son got drafted to his team. In fact, so much that Rich Paul told teams not to draft him because the Lakers wanted to draft him, and if you drafted him, then he was going to go play in Australia. That was being reported. So I don't know how much true that is, but speaking of old crippled fucks, we'll bring in our old Hall of Famer, Mr. Scott Coe.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Trump Biden debate's on. I'm sorry. You just woke me up. Thanks. I appreciate it. These guys look like they're sound asleep at the podium tonight. I just turned it on for a minute. Oh, my God.
God, they should be joining you and Keith in the nursing home instead of trying to run for presidency.
Yeah, Trump is already doubting everything Biden says, and Biden's like shaking his head. Everything.
I may as well go upstairs and watch my two kids argue over whose toy it is. That's pretty much what that's like.
So I got the Connecticut Sun, Washington Mystics on right now. That's my sports night. So
there you go. That's a lot better than anything else. I like I said, I'm watching the Copa America. It just seems like that was about the only thing on. I could have watched Sam's Guardians, but I'm done with baseball, even though the Cubs won today. But I can't stomach it anymore.
When's football start? Well, how long do we have to wait for this? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to talk a little NBA. I wish Johnny was joining us tonight, but he's not. Mr. Nick. The Knicks have made the best moves. I mean, I know it's still early, but they give OG the bag, and more importantly, they trade 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected picks to get Mikal Bridges to complete the Villanova the New York Wildcats.
Are they not the New York Knicks anymore? They're the Villanova Knicks. Is that what we're calling them?
Are the New York Wildcats is what you can call them.
Yeah, the Knicks have had a really good couple of days here. I'm a little worried, being a Celtics fan, that the Knicks have stepped up and have decided you ain't winning the East next year. We're going to take it from you. So, yeah, I love what the Knicks have done. And in the draft, they just traded and they accrued more draft picks. And, they don't really need much. They're like the Celtics. They didn't really need much in the draft. So, Porzingis is out for 5 to 6 months. He had surgery, so that'll put a little dent on it. But as we know, NBA season doesn't start till January 1st anyway. So I'm really not worried about Porzingis being out in October, November. So VH tips Super Bowl 30. So, yeah, I mean, I love what the Knicks have done. I loved what Minnesota did, too. Minnesota got a couple of nice pieces in the draft. Dillingham will be a great fit for their young athletic team. And San Antonio had a bunch of picks that they turned into cashed in big time. So
yeah, they traded back. They got some more. Pop is doing his thing. That's just what what I mean. Like they're gonna figure that out. It seemed like this is like the second year in a row where the Frenchmen have run the league. You know what I mean? Victor Wembanyama, the top 2 picks this year, where both Frenchmen. So I mean, they're gonna have a hell of an international team eventually. They keep going.
The ESPN crew and the ABC crew and the NBA TV crew said America better get their act together, because these international kids are starting to really take over here. And if these American kids don't get it together, the NBA is going to be 60% German, French, international kids. And the United States kids are just going to fall way behind and not be able to catch up. So they got a lot of work to do. This group of United States players, prospects, we're not that strong this year. So
no. I mean, really, even you think of the biggest college player there was Zach Edey, and he's Canadian.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. And he went 9, which I was shocked. He went
to the Grizzlies. So like that's. And I want to go ahead and bring in Sam in here, Mr. Shorter Beard, first down. Trim the beard here, Mr. First Base is what we'll call him during baseball season. Still.
Nick, Sam is our French basketball expert. So if you have any questions for him.
Is Star gonna be as good as Wembanyama in all this? But Scott, I wanted to ask you. To me, like, is this whose fault is this that we don't know these kids' names? Is it college? Is it the league? You know what I mean? Like, is it because kids are one and done? We don't get to know their names. Who puts the blame on that?
So I would start with themselves, the kids themselves. And, they have the AAU mentality where it's, okay, I'm going to go to the best AAU team. I'm going to be the superstar. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play all this basketball. And when they get to college, it's like, oh, I don't want to play anymore. They played so much basketball in their lives that they're just all burnt, not burnt out, but they've got a lot of tread on the tire, so to speak. Then I would go to the parents, some of the parents here. You gotta really, because what's the first look that these kids look? I was a high school coach for 30 years. When we had a foul shot, the first look these kids looked at was their dads up in the stands. Yeah. And in high school, not college, but in high school, they're not listening to their coaches. They're listening to their dads and their uncles and their parents and everything else instead of listening to the coach.
I am a victim of that, being that type of parent. I yell at my son now 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. I'm yelling the same shit to coaches. Right. You know what I mean? I really am. And sometimes he'll be like, Dad, coach is yelling the same fucking thing. He'll tell me. I'm like, yeah, I'm yelling at you. You know what I mean? Like, and as he's gotten older, I've tried to decrease some of that and just like, yeah, you know what? I have, but I still am a little bit that way. A lot of it's just mainly like box out, hustle. You know what I mean? I'm not telling them,
which is fine. You
know what I mean? Like, he actually plays for the same coach that coached me in high school. So I do know the damn plays because, you know what I mean? Like, I played for him as well. But at the same time, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, is Coach C saying anything different than I am? Like, I'm not telling you anything different than the coach ain't.
Can't wait till I get to that. I can't wait.
And Tanner just came in, so as soon as Tanner hooks up the TV here, we'll get him in. My thing is, and I experienced this a lot through my coaching career in high school, is you're a different parent than the rest of them. The rest of them would go home and would tear apart. They'd put the videotape. A lot of these parents videotape the games.
Yeah.
They would go home. They would go second by second, reel by reel. This is what you did wrong. You better not do it anymore. And then the kid would say, "Hey, Dad," or whatever. The coach said this, and the dad would be like, "No. This is what you're supposed to do.
Well,
this is how you're supposed to do it."
A lot of it's instant gratification too. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. I'll never be one of those parents that tell my kid that they should tell the coach that my kid should be playing harder or playing above somebody else. You know, or should be starting. You know, this is a legit conversation I had with my son today. He's actually playing in his first summer league for his high school team. And he's like, I think I should be starting. He kind of messaged me. He's like, hey, I don't think the guy that's a grade ahead of me, I don't know if he's playing. I've been starting down here, you know, so I might be starting JV at the start of the year. And I said, son, like, you're the one that's been putting in the gym, putting in the work. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. You know what I mean? The coaches are going to see that. Like, if you're in there putting in the work in and you're, you know, so I always tell them, like, if you want more playing time, then you got to play harder. You got to put in the extra work after practice. Exactly. It's not just those 2 hours of every day after practice. It's you got to go above and beyond in practice even.
He shrunk.
He had a great thought too that he was gonna.
Now it's ruined.
Oh, here we go. I'm back. So
okay. All right.
I would say too, like, you know, so, and then people will say, well, the parents need to help the kids. I always say, if my son comes and asks me, Dad, I want to go out here and put in the extra work, I'll put down whatever I'm doing and go and put on the extra work. But I'm not going to go the extra mile. If you're not going to go I'm going to match your effort because like you got to want to do it. Sometimes the parents want to do it more than the kids, and that's also the problem.
So as a coach, I had open door policy. You know, parents could come to me, talk to me about everything but playing time. I don't want to hear about playing time. I know all the parents are going to come to me and talk about, hey, my daughter should play more than this kid. I don't want to hear that. That's not what I'm here for. But if you have a problem with how I'm coaching the kids, what I'm running, come talk to me. We can have a discussion about that. So kids would come to me and say, hey, coach, you know, I went home last night after the game. You know, me and my dad, I said, well, that's normal. Your dad talks about it. But then he started telling me on the videotape what I was doing wrong. And, you know, he started telling me this is what you should do. And I said to him, this is what coach said. And he was like, I don't care what coach says. This is what you should be doing. So I said, do me a favor. You go home tonight. Tell your dad, come see me tomorrow. We'll talk about it after practice. When he picks you up, we'll sit and we'll talk about it for 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute conversation. So I let the dad go, and then I said, and then we came to an agreement. You videotape your daughter, that's fine. I don't want to hear your daughter come to practice the next day and say, this is what you were telling her. I'm the coach. I'll coach your daughter the best way I know how. I'm getting it from the varsity coach. It's not me. It's what we do as a program. I don't want to hear it anymore. And it stopped. Yeah. And it stopped. Yeah. So what you're doing, Nick, is perfectly fine. And I wish every parent that I had in 30 years of coaching would have did the same thing. But I didn't. So that's what the problem is with these kids now is that parents are living vicariously through them.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the instant gratification. Exactly. And that's why some of these kids, that's why, you know, we talk, and to kind of go back to the original question to me is like, that's why these kids jump from place to place to place to place. They're transferring, they're going playing overseas. You know, it's not so much, especially with NIL. It's a little bit of money, but it's not. It's more like it's who can pay me and how can I play the fastest? Well, or I was sitting on the bench because 2 guys below me. Yeah, but what were you doing? You know what I mean? Like, were you working harder? Were you Were you putting in that extra work? Better yourself. You know what I mean? For especially now, there is times that where guys are just flat out better than you, and that's going to happen. But you can still coaches are, especially in basketball and football and things like that. Like, you can crack a rotation if you just fucking work hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. You may not start, but you can play tops. You can be, you know what I mean, 7 or 8 guy off the bench. You got to be okay with that because every team, every great team, they're just as good. They're only as good as their bench. And the Celtics are proven to that, right? They're the champions this year because of their bench. They were a deeper, better team than the Mavericks.
And they drafted a great kid at 30 who's a pure shooter from Creighton. So, but anyway, these last 2 years, the number one picks have been from France. If I'm an American kid, I'm saying that ain't happening anymore. When I'm in that class, it ain't happening. So the American kids got to take it upon themselves to say, hey, the French kids, they ain't getting drafted number one. I'm going to outperform them. I'm going to make sure I get drafted number one. But these kids are perfectly fine with just getting drafted. And that's the problem. They're happy with
you look at it too. You look at the last MVPs of the league, Jokic, Giannis, like, you know what I mean? Like, who's the MVP this year?
It was
Jokic was the MVP.
Jokic.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like, Jokic and Giannis have been even Luka's going to be the next kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like those European type players. And now it helps that they've been playing professional since they were like 15 years old, but they're also putting in the extra work. We'll go ahead and bring in our fourth guy, Mr. Tanner Dawson, our super producer.
What are we talking about?
So I kind of asked
this. What I thought I heard.
Is that you, Tanner? Is that you back there?
Where are you?
Sorry, my setup's not the same today.
We need goggles to see. So I was just kind of talking about who. Like, I was watching that NBA draft last night, and I didn't know a single fuck who those guys were. I really felt like Conor McGregor. And who the fuck is this? I could name 5 guys. I could probably take a shot for every player.
I knew who they were because I look at those kids.
But for the casual, I would say I'm a casual college.
For the casual player, they don't know.
I know. I probably could have took a shot for every guy I knew, and I probably would have been able to drive legally. That's you know what I mean. Like, I probably could have named 5 guys.
Nick, you weren't high on Zachary Ricochet? You didn't. No, not at all.
He knew who Zach Edey was. I can tell you that much.
I knew Zach Edey. I knew Klingman. Unfortunately, I know Bronny James, even though he was, nepotism got him today. So, nonetheless.
Oh, God.
No. And I don't know if a second round player has ever been talked more about in the history of the NBA draft of where he's going to go than Bronny James.
I know. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
His stats are bad. I don't get
all day today.
Well,
I'm telling you, from 3:30 to 6
more to
the
that.
time to get drafted, it was Bronny James love on ESPN all day long.
It was the entire time before the draft yesterday.
Yeah.
They were like obsession. I'm like, get over it. Like, I'm glad I was doing a show during most of it, for God's sake.
Me too.
You know, on that. But so what's our big debate? I'm hearing multiple things here. Yeah.
So my question is, whose fault is that really there wasn't a deep draft class of American kids, and it's a lot of international players, and how like the cash. Because I think
it's always international players. It's always will, because they're playing pro ball across seas, and you can't unless you go to the G League.
Whose fault is it though that we don't know these names? Like, who's like, you know what I mean? Like, whose fault is that? The players? Is it college? Is it the system? Like, that's kind of what
it's the NBA's fault. First off, it's the NBA's fault the way they do their draft. You can't end the season just like NHL. You can't end the season and then have the draft a week later, right? It doesn't work. And there's no talk. That's why the NFL does stuff so well. We got February, Super Bowl happens, right? Beginning of February, second week of February, it's over. Okay. You have that entire rest of the month, March, and almost all of April. You have 3 months to have mock draft, to talk about it,
exactly.
Market
it. The NFL has made their schedule so good that that's why they're always going to be king. Because, like you said, Tanner, like, okay, we got the season from really August till February, because August is like training camp, preseason. You know what I mean? Then we got till February. It's the last game of the year, and it's late February now with week 17, right? We're mid-February. And then so then after that, like you said, it's 2 months of the draft to get us to April, and then it's plus somewhere in there is free agency signing all the way up until
you have free agencies going on before the draft, so that builds up more speculation. All right, this team needs a running back, right? Who they grab? Like, That's what the NBA, the WNBA, the NHL all failed to realize of how to grow a correct draft night. Like now they're separating into 2 days, right? NBA is. I agree with that. You should separate your rounds into 2 days. Gives your time to gives everybody
more
time
talk. You're able to talk more of the talking.
But you can't just do a championship series that could have if it went 7. You're talking less than a week of really talking about the draft at all, right?
3 days. 3 days.
And so the way it's just marketed, it's not players' fault. It's not anybody else's fault except for
even college basketball, though, there's not, you know what I mean? Look back at this past year college basketball. There's not a lot of stars, you know what I mean?
Well, that's also the NBA and G League's fault too, and overseas. You don't have to go to college anymore to do stuff. The NIL is actually keeping NCAA.
I think NIL will help kids. I think, I was going to say,
it's keeping it alive right now.
Yeah,
it's plain and simple. It's keeping it alive. But you can't just say, oh, it's the players' fault because they're not great enough. Well, there's no time to market yourself because in the NBA you got all the playoffs. There's no time to talk about the NBA draft. I didn't hear a word about the NBA draft, the entire playoffs, the entire finals. Not one lick about it until 3 days ago.
Yeah,
and I knew it was coming up, and I'm like now you're just hearing about mock drafts coming up and all that stuff. So
I didn't even it's just you almost didn't even. They don't do a good job of marketing it either. And the thing the NFL has made too is they made the draft since they got out of radio music an event. You know what I mean? A must go to an event, a must see event.
But like even when it was in New York, it was still an event. It was still a
but
thing.
not even like it is now.
Well, now it's more like people around the cities will go to it, right?
Like we talked about when we went to Kansas City. This is like a concert. It's like a festival more than a draft, than like a sporting event. It's more like a festival, like a music festival.
Look at the WNBA. Look at the WNBA.
Oh, they just threw out the Royals head
within
manager.
2 weeks.
I know. I'm watching
the draft happens.
Some bull calls
within
right
2
now.
Weeks after that, you're in the training camp.
Yeah.
So within, like Caitlin Clark and all the Angel Reese and all those college players, they're gonna be. If there was no Olympics this year because they're taking a break for the Olympics, they would have played roughly 85, 90 games in 5.5 months, 6 months.
Yeah. We discussed this a few weeks ago. About exactly the run, how a WNBA, doesn't match up with how it should. The NBA is the same way. NHL is the same way. You're not going to get the discussion unless you have a LeBron type of player, a Caitlin Clark type of player, a Connor Connor, the Chicago NHL player. I can't remember his last name right now.
Connor Bedard.
Bedard. So I was getting close, right? So Bedard, but like those kind of type of players, you're going to draw an interest, but you're not going to know anybody else, right? That well, unless you're really school following. And it's not the NCAA's fault. They ended. It's ended in April, right? Then you still have the whole entire rest of the NBA season, the whole entire NBA playoffs, finals. You finally end in June, and it just doesn't sync up correctly, just like the WNBA and the college basketball world there. NHL side doesn't do the same thing. It's not player. I will never blame this on players. It is fully how the leagues are organized and they go about their schedules and how they won't adjust to anything because of the big name of the NFL being King. So if they would just learn, I guarantee this NBA draft would be so much more entertaining if they would give us a month. Give us a month. Just give us
to learn
the
names, just to learn the people.
Talking about it, mock drafts.
The thing I have a problem with is the NBA playoffs are way too long. There's way too much time.
These
guys used to play back-to-back nights. They used to play in every other night.
We talked about that at the beginning. The schedule of the NBA is awful.
You're playing every other week per game, so it's ridiculous. You
play game 1 on Sunday, but then you're not playing a game 2 till Wednesday or Thursday sometimes.
You had 10 days between the conference finals and the NBA finals. That should never be. Should never be. You should have at most 4 days. At the most 4 days. That's it. And then you go every other day until the series is over. These guys will play. They're used to it. It's ridiculous. It's criminal what they do.
No, it is. And so that's what I'm saying. The reason you see a bunch of European guys is because they're already pro over there. right? And they've been playing pro ball. Luka was playing pro ball since he was 16, 15, whatever it was. So like guys like that, Joker's the same style. It's just different to them. It's more of a business side to them as well. Like they enjoy it, but it's more of a business side on the cross seas.
The job is Joker. As Joker says, does anybody like this job? Like
Joker's like, can I go on my goats yet? Can I go get my horse? You know, that's what it is over there. Over here, it's all about cash money, and you want to get paid, and and you're just going to go for the contract. So it's hard to find key guys, but I mean, in the end, it's the league's fault. It's the NBA, the NHL, the WNBA. It don't matter who you are.
It's been a while to me. I guess the last really like star-studded draft to me was the Zion, Ja Morant, RJ Barrett draft. Like that, like to me, like that was like the last draft that where you're like, oh man, I really want to know where all these guys are kind of gonna go. Yeah,
and those are also bigger names, right? That all throughout college season. That were really marketed before the playoffs because of just where they fell in the tournament as well. The tournament, they were all involved in it, and it was all big names. And these guys here, they're not as big names going into play. A lot of them didn't last as long either in the tournament outside of UConn. So, like, really outside of that, you're not being marketed correctly. And like I said, a week later, 2 weeks later, like if you would have done 7 games, guys, we're talking less than a week and a half before the NBA draft.
I mean, really, I think you could have pushed even if they could push the draft till July. You know what I mean? And I know they do summer league, which would be a little bit harder.
Dead month, man.
Yeah,
cut the summer league. Nobody wants to do the summer league anyway. It's like the NFL training camp. Nobody wants to do that stuff. Nobody wants to do the preseason.
So today. Here's what it was today. They did the draft. Draft was over. Yeah. And ESPN said, "Oh, by the way, Las Vegas Summer League starts in 2 weeks." It's like they just kicked it in. Oh, by the way, the Las Vegas.
Marking it up. Party is moved to today. Okay.
ESPN marking it up because you got supposedly all these players playing in Las Vegas. Marking it up. Oh, by the way, we're starting in a couple of weeks on Sunday.
Well, that's right. Even if you did the summer league, right, you push it back. Let's just say you start the draft after the 4th of July, and then you do the draft, and then you do 1 week later, 2 weeks later, you're putting yourself at the end of July, early August for summer league, and then the season starts in October. So that still gives you, what I mean?
Still gives you time.
It still gives you August.
Eliminate a few games of the summer league for God's sake.
Yes, it still gives you September, a whole month of September for training camp and things like that.
Follow the NFL product line. It's just like a lot of if you're in a corporate style.
David Stern, not David Stern, but
follow the Chick-fil-A guidelines on customer service and certain just production as well. Follow it. Like look what they're doing. Do what you're doing. So. I think that's the biggest thing. So
what you do with the Las Vegas Summer League is you invite six teams, different 6 teams every year. So every 5 years they rotate out the teams, and then you just play the 6 teams. You go for like 10 days to 2 weeks, and you're done by the middle of August.
I don't even mind having all 30 teams there. It just shorten up. You know what I mean?
Just shorten it up. This is like training camp.
Yeah, you got to shorten it up to like 10 days. 10 days at the most. That's it.
You can play multiple games in a day. You know what I mean?
2 games each team plays. That's it. They're done. They're done. And that's it. But instead, the NBA has to market the heck out of it when it's going on, not before, and spread it out. So it's a 3-week process, 4-week process. And then it's just so
I'm more worried about who the hell the in-season tournament is. They market the shit out of that, but not the NBA draft.
Yeah, we don't know who's getting drafted. We know who's going to win the in-season tournament, man.
Yeah.
Put the banners
up. So whoever wins the Vegas League is going to hang a banner? Is this how it's going to go now?
It's not.
Hey, win the Vegas Summer League. Go hanging this banner.
Lakers are going to win it. Hang that banner.
Led by Bronny James.
Bronny James.
So I was looking up headlines for the show, and 3 of them were about Bronny James. I was like, God help me.
No. Dude, what's his contract going to look like? He's going to be in the G League. I'm assuming he's going to be in the G League. I don't know that for a fact.
No, because he went to the Lakers. He went Lakers.
His dad.
And the Rich Paul, his agent, said he won't do a 2-way contract. That's the goal, not to do a 2-way contract. So he's gonna either have a regular contract or he'll go play in Australia which I'll laugh.
Yeah. Well, then he got drafted by the Lakers. His agent, Rich Paul, was telling teams not to draft him.
Yeah. I was like, well, I asked the question. I go, couldn't you draft him and still have his rights? Like while he played in Australia? Like, wouldn't you still have his rights?
Yeah,
like,
you do.
You're either going to come back and play for me or you're not. So what do you want to do?
If I was for your daddy and he ain't playing here, but I own your ass. You know what I mean?
I would have done it if I was a GM just to be a salty bastard. But
so this is what I was hoping. This is what I was hoping. I was sitting there watching.
Threaten me again.
55. The Celtics were 54. I was damn hoping the Celtics at 54 would have said, Bronny James is our pick, because then it would have all exploded.
That's the one place that all the battles LeBron's had with Boston too, plus the Lakers at Boston
or Miami, Miami, some place like that.
I will say here, having the second round on a separate day, I'm interested to see if that does come across better for the front offices. Unlike maybe you do have more impactful picks like this Bronny thing. I ain't worried about it. It's just a LeBron Laker. Let's keep LeBron.
I don't, and the sad thing about it is, and I'll say, like, I feel bad. Like, it's not Bron's fault. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for him. If his name was Michael Smith Jr. or some shit like that, you know what I mean? James Smith, nobody would care where he got. It's not even that he would be a free agent, even if they did draft him. Like, right? Like, let's just say, same storyline. He goes to USC. Like, he's highly touted, goes to USC, has the heart attack, and then he still says, I'm going to come out. I think I can make a roster on the NBA. Nobody's going to talk about him. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, they drafted this kid who had the heart attack. Like, hopefully he continues to play well. Kudos to him. But because his dad's LeBron James and the media attaches it to him, then it's all the scrutiny and
again, the media part of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So but no, I'm curious.
So, Tim, that means ESPN is going to televise 82 Lakers games next year, right?
Yes, it's going to be all over the place, man. And then we're going to watch him sit on the bench. It's going to get camera zoomed every single game, multiple times. It's like Taylor Swift, right? It's like Taylor Swift for the Chiefs.
I said the same thing.
You're always going to get Taylor, and you're always going to get Bronny.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he wasn't going to draft. I really thought he was going to not get drafted.
What is the percentage that LeBron's already been in JJ Redick's ear about Bronny?
I don't think so. I don't think
think it was a JJ pick because he still has a player option to accept. So LeBron still needs to accept his player option before anything happens right on that side. That's 53 mil by itself. So I think he's going to the front office to say, if you want me, this is what you got to do. And if you don't want me, we'll see where he goes, and maybe I will still play. But they got JJ to bring LeBron back, right? And poor JJ, man. Like you're on the Lakers, so much pressure. You're coming from the media side of things. Now you got the best player in the nation. You got a son, and you got to deal with all this BS in your first year. And if you don't compete, if this Lakers team, just like what they always are, will always be the old Lakers team with no depth, then you're in the same. You're gonna get all the trash your way. Granted, he's set for has a good money coming his way, but you're still set with all that image hate. And if you I wish you just would have waited 3 more years to get the old guys out of there, and then you can go out and accept a job anywhere you want. But because now he's there, it's so much pressure. The spotlight's there. It's not really on LeBron. It's on him right now.
And the thing of it is their roster. We talked about it on Monday's show. Their roster's not very good. Like
we talked about it last night. It's awful. It's old. It's injured. They're not the same guys, and you're not helping yourself. You just wasted a second round pick on a guy that may not be able to even compete for a roster spot, and that's the issue. There's guys out there in the second round that late where they probably would compete for a roster spot, maybe size, maybe something to help you out. No, you wasted on a Bronny James to try to get your $53 million player option accepted. So that's what blows my mind.
So if I'm Rob Pelinka, I go to Bronny and say, Bronny, we got to give you dad $53 million. We're gonna have to give you the minimum. You're gonna get the minimum.
I think it's all about him. I think it's like the NFL, where you're drafted at, you're locked into that.
Yeah,
he's got to be locked into a low contract. I think
not a whole contract, not a second round. But
It's
He's
not
locked into
guaranteed.
something.
It's not guaranteed.
He's locked into something. I can tell you that much. But
And I think
you're
to
not messing
Alan's,
around Bronny though in that case. What's up, Jay?
and I think to Alan's comment, I think LeBron's going to say to his son, "You're just another player during games. If you screw up, I'm going to get on you."
Take your allowance when you get home. You got to take out the trash, boy.
That's right. You got to take out the extra trash.
I feel in a way
Dog
too.
needs to be bathed, son.
I feel in a way too. Like I know LeBron played actually really great last year. For his age and where he's coming from the last couple of years of injuries and stuff. He actually, he really did play pretty great last year.
He did.
I feel like maybe playing with his son will give a little bit more energy, revitalize himself a little bit, and we might see a guy that we saw 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and like be that guy. Part of it. They end half, but like still see a guy take charge and show his son this is how you do it. I can still do it.
He's going to be very motivated this year. He's going to be very motivated.
It could be. I'm just speculating out here. It could be something like that.
I think he is. I think he's going to be extra motivated because he's playing with his son for 2 years. I think he's 2 years and he's done. I think
2 years?
after that.
And
3 years at the most. Yeah.
I don't know. If he gets one more injury, he's probably like, it's been fun, guys.
Sam, are the Guardians screwing up tonight? Is this why I keep seeing palms up and stuff?
No,
so
they're
far,
not.
Tanner
Royals.
I think Tanner and I are in agreement. This ump is all over the place.
Oh, it's awful. This ump's awful.
It's really bad. Yeah.
Bases loaded. Get out of the bread. Let's go.
Scott, you had some news about the Warrior Bowl, and then we'll get to Sam's headlines before we get to our power rankings.
I have two because I don't want to talk about Bronny.
Thank God.
Oh, come on. I wanted Bronny. I'll talk all the time.
His favorite color is red. What do you
Let's
think?
talk Taylor Swift, too.
Miss Lippy's car? Bronny likes soda. Yeah. Miss Lippy's car.
I don't know, Tanner. 23 was such a better album.
Dad, after the game, I'm going to take the car. I'm going to a drive-in movie with the rest of the guys. So, Warrior Bowl starts in July. Two people. I need SJ Kobe on my Twitter. I need your email so I can pass it along to Warrior Bowl people. The two names that won, Nick Bodkins, Alan Perales. So congratulations to you guys.
Hey, congrats.
I need your email. Anna's back in it this year as well.
So
I need,
back.
I need the emails from both of you so I can pass them along, and they will send you an invite so you can get into a division. So congratulations.
All right. I'm in. I can't wait. I thought you said something about teams. Did you have something about teams or something?
What about teams?
In the group chat, I thought you said something about you were going to ask us about some teams.
Oh, I didn't do that stuff. I'll wait until next week. I'll wait till Monday night before the July 4th. So.
Okay.
Right.
Sam, you got any quick headlines? There's not much to talk about. We've talked about everything, I feel like, today.
So back to Bronny James for a minute. Let's talk.
No, we're not doing that. There's not a lot going on. Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. I guess that's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah, we talked about that on Monday already.
Yeah, but we talked about that on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
I do want to hold on real quick. Shout out to our guy Jim Behringer, who's was on the ice.
On the ice.
Guys.
Living his dream. We know Jim. Me and Tanner have been on this ride with Jim for almost 2 years. We knew nothing about hockey until we started talking to Jim. And so Jim speaks with hockey about a lot of passion and things like that. So
hold on, Nick. That's a lie. You knew that the Blackhawks were in a 10-year period every.
Well, I knew that because I started following it because of Jim. Yeah.
Oh, that's from Jim. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that was you guys.
Well, it was, but then I asked Jim about it because I was reading up on it.
And then he confirmed the 10-year rebuild plan. So
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
every year,
Jim,
10 years.
I do want to shout out. So it's something special when you see your friend, living his dream, and that's been Jim's dream to cover hockey, to be at the Stanley Cup. He was there, and he's on the ice, and I've seen him in certain interviews, and we'll get him on Monday to talk about it all. Just really living his best life and living his dream. So shout out to our guy Jim Behringer. He's also going to be covering the draft.
He's on the ground of the draft right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's headed to Vegas at the Sphere for the NFL draft. So that's cool. He'll be able to tell us
he
all
arrived.
about it.
I saw the picture of Encore today. So
Jim,
he is in Vegas.
if you're tuning in, make sure you bring a winter jacket with you for the snowstorm in Vegas that's going to hit. And make sure you bring out an extra pair of thermals. You're going to need
it. But Jim was on the ice. I've heard him in different interviews talk about a little bit about the atmosphere and how cool it was. So I can't wait to sit down and talk with him, hopefully on Monday.
Yeah.
But shout out our guy, Jim Behringer, who was at Game 7. Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
Happy guys, real quick, happy birthday to our guy, Jonathan Gershman, as well. The other half of the Monday Night Crew. He's
he got another head coaching job to coach like an all-star game, I believe.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear about that. That's awesome.
I did. I'm gonna look it up. He
was on the when I talked to him yesterday, he was on the beach he was on Newport Beach relaxing.
Yeah.
That's why he did not make the baseball show last night.
Well,
because he was on Newport Beach relaxing.
Let's go.
And I said, what a hard life you have. If I knew this, I wouldn't have got out of coaching.
Get on.
Do you guys have a side bet for the Royals
triple
series?
So Jonathan, he put this out on his Facebook today, 8 hours ago. Got some great news this morning, a wonderful birthday gift. He's been selected by the league director to be the head coach of the PCSL All-Star Game on July 4th. So the league that he is coaching right now, he is it was elected to coach the All-Star Game for them on July 4th.
And he's been there, what, 3 months? 3 months he's been in that?
No. He's only been there less than a month. Less than
he's
a
only
month.
been a couple of weeks.
And he's been honored with this position.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So shout out to our guy Jonathan Grisham. So Jim and John are doing
big
great.
guys
Happy birthday, Jonathan.
Doing good things.
Yeah. So go ahead, Sam.
All right, Sam, you can do it now.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, one more thing.
Actually, hey Nick.
Okay, I was like, you know what? F y'all. Boo. Anyway.
Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Sam, wait a minute. Sam, wait a minute. I got one. No.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, Coach. Go ahead. Anyway, so the U.S. District Court has ordered the NFL to pay over $4 billion to subscribers, which is unfortunately chump change to them or whatnot. You think the NFL will try to appeal or just say, yeah, sure, why not?
We'll pay everybody $30. Yeah.
No, I got an email from DirecTV. It's like 1985 or something like that. That's what we get.
Get you $20.
Go to Sonic Happy Hour.
They'll probably just pay it. So
yeah, they'll pay it.
Yeah,
that's Trump change. What's you know what I mean? I mean, it's $4 billion is a lot to us, but $4 billion the NFL's. I mean, they sneeze and they make that. So that ain't
right. That's a day, just an off-season day.
So you think
it's one game negotiation with.
Yeah, that's a win day.
Yeah, that's a one-game negotiation with Netflix. Hey,
I do have two teams that I remember off the top of my head.
Okay,
this is NFL teams to make or miss the playoffs. To miss the playoffs, Sam's Titans minus 650 to miss the playoffs. Sam, do the Titans make the playoffs or not?
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. No. Nick has them getting in last place, but I think the Jags are going to go back into the basement. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, we'll make those official predictions when we make our division.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And the other one right now on DraftKings, Chicago Bears missed the playoffs plus 100. I don't think they're making a
plus 100.
Yeah, I don't think
to make it or miss it.
To miss the playoffs, they're plus 100.
That's easy money. That's easy money.
They're not.
It's going to look awesome, Robert. That's what we're hoping. It's going to look awesome.
I've already bet the Bears.
Let's go, baby.
The Bills are like plus 200. I just threw some money on them to miss the playoffs.
It's just one run. It's just one run, Tanner. Just settle down. It's just one.
Yeah, Rob, I think I'm excited for it. The uncensored version of WWE. It's going to be the Attitude Era all over again. No restrictions. I think, I seen a TikTok today. It's like the very first day that WWE is on Seth Rollins, and it's like, and this is for one fall, and in the blue corner, Seth fucking Rollins.
Did you hear the rumor that Rock would be going to 2 hours on Netflix instead of 3?
I hope so. I like it. I like 2 hours better than 3. Yeah,
I do
shorten
too.
it up.
That's the
Go
what Netflix
first.
wants. 2
Oh
hours.
my God! Anyway,
Let's go. He's safe.
of course he's safe. Ben Lively dropped the
Any
ball.
other headlines, Sam?
Sam, we got
Yeah.
any other headlines?
Yeah,
Guardian
yeah,
stink?
sure. Why
Is
not?
Is the Guardian stink? Is that the headline? Next headline?
No, it's just they kept Ben Lively in there too long, and he's pooping the bed. Anyway, so my
Alan,
last headline.
Before you go, Sam.
Hold on, Sam, are you having trouble with it?
you should be talking. The Orioles are smoking the Rangers right now. You
Yeah.
can't
Hey,
talk to
hey,
them.
Alan.
I
Alan,
beat
how was that Brewer series?
I think it's totally unfair that Tanner has 2 feet. I don't care what his brother's coach is. He should pick a team.
I had two.
This is
Yeah,
silly.
By bylines, you're allowed to. You're bylines.
Sam, he's got one in the American League and one in the National League, so that's perfectly fine.
I'm just saying, it's not very. It's not very
and the
fanboy.
fact that his brother coached.
Yeah, he has to be a Brewers fan too.
Nah, fam.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now,
fam.
if he's still a Brewers fan and his brother is no longer a Brewers coach, then we got problems. But
Then you guys can yell at me then. Yeah.
Never.
You guys can yell
Yeah.
at me then.
Never. No.
Like,
What's
I
up,
can
Bobby?
support, I just can't be a fan.
This,
Like
this aggression will not
World
stand,
Series.
man. This aggression will not stand.
Go ahead,
Royals
Sam.
World Series.
Yeah, I shared this video with you guys, and this isn't even a top 10 headline. I had to actually search for these things. Play-by-play, I think, announcer Michael Kay for the Yankees or whatnot got all on his high horse, pissed that that they played a commercial for the Mets while he was on his radio show, even though his 2 co-hosts go, well, this is what pays our paycheck and everything like that,
yeah,
and decided to be I'll just say it, kind of a whiny bitch about it. I just wonder what your guys' thoughts on it or whatnot, because I was like, wow, how like privileged is this guy? You know, been
Well,
calling
He
it
can't
since
say
1992.
anything good about the Mets because he's a Yankees play-by-play guy. So
Well, he did-
anything that comes across as the Mets, he knows full well in the back of his mind, hey, whatever that pays the bills. But he's a Yankees play-by-play guy. He's not gonna. He's not gonna.
You're a proud guy. You're a proud announcer. Why would you accept anything being like that happen during your broadcast? First off,
I'd be
the same way.
I look at it as this, like as a Cubs fan, like, so there is White Sox shit, you know what I mean, like commercials and things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like you got to be like, you know, as a broadcaster, you just got to push it aside and be like, well, if you want to, I would say, like, if you want to watch that team, you know, the crappier team in Chicago, that's hard to say because both teams stink. But you know, like
I did.
You know, so we'll see.
We'll get revenge.
So.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I just found it kind of, I don't know, whiny.
I don't know, getting in. I'm not getting Jasheen. I'm not getting it up in a. I don't really care because it's not really American. Like, I mean, who's running out there playing for the NFL? Like, that's not NFL players playing while Japan's beating them.
Tom Brady, Tom Brady walking in there, you know, just like
yeah, that's not who are they playing against. High school kids, like some college kids. Like,
I
I
have no
didn't see.
idea.
Yeah.
I have no. I didn't even know there was an
What
NFL
sport was that?
Olympics.
What's
In football.
Football. Tackle
It's-
old football.
Tanner, if Ben Lively walks back out there, I'm going to be very upset.
I hope he does.
Japan
I'm
beat
sure
the
you do.
USA. Like,
National team.
but it's not. Again, it's not real NFL players. You know what I mean?
No, it's
No.
not. It's not. It's not. So, yeah, you take it with a
It's
grain
the
of
under
salt.
20 team.
Yeah, you take it with a grain.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
probably
you take
not
it with
even
a grain.
elite level high school, like college kids. The under 20 team is what Jasheen's saying.
It is.
That's
it
just
is-
like when we lose in other sports. If you really think about it, and Pat McAfee makes this point all the time on his show. Yeah, we lost in like handball or something, or we lost in this. If we really wanted to, like if the NFL players really wanted to, and there was no NFL, they played other sports, we would wax the floor with about any other country that they're in.
No doubt.
Sure,
No
sure.
Just honest. Name a sport, we probably got a guy that's probably that could, if he put his time and effort into it, would be better than them.
It is so slow sports wise right now that the local sports channel in Boston is retelevising every NBA Finals game. That's how slow it is.
Like I said, I'm watching the
I'm looking
Copa
at game
America.
one on my TV right now. It's game one of the NBA Finals. I mean, come on, really? Come on.
Let's go ahead. We'll jump into our MLB power rankings. Scott, we'll start with you. Where's my hammer at?
Don't whip it out, Nick. Don't do it.
I have a hammer.
Okay, let me get
Let me grab my hammer.
Okay, here we go. Number 10, the Cleveland Guardians are number 10.
Get out.
Go.
Right now, yes.
For tonight, yes, right? No, my number 10 is the St. Louis Cardinals.
They're down one run.
Whoa, Tanner, give him some shit, will you?
These are all playoff teams. The St. Louis Cardinals are number 10.
The hell you
Only
doing, dude?
Only because
Well,
I had to take it from Nick.
Not you. I
No,
expect this from Nick, not you.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's not?
10's no, I was kidding. Number 10's the Twins. They just went to Arizona, and I believe they swept them. It's scoring runs too. They weren't scoring a ton of runs. They were just doing these 4-2 games, relying on the pitcher. Now they're starting to score runs. Now their offense is starting to come alive.
That's mine too, by the way. I also have the Twins there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just think they're an all-around solid enough team that could possibly sneak in the playoffs. Their pitching's really good. They got the top three of Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober. I think they have enough to sneak in the playoffs, or at least make it interesting down the stretch here. They got a positive run differential because of their pitching, and that's really important in when you're trying to make the playoffs. So Minnesota's my number 10.
Sam's got Twins too. Who you got, Sam?
Sam's been copying off my paper, so.
Sorry. Hey, send me the other one. Send me that picture again.
Number 10 for me is the Bo Sox. So Boston's been playing pretty well lately. Obviously playing through the offense.
The pin was really faded. I told you to use the good pins.
Jesus. And they're top 10, top 6 actually in pitching stats as well. I mean, these guys have been playing pretty well. I'll give them that. They had a great June, and they continued to they just surpassed the Royals for the wild card spot here this last couple days. So they're continuing to do what they need to do here. And again, this is a team we didn't really talk about being part of it of even a wild card spot that I'm aware of.
Themselves up.
Beginning of the season.
They pulled themselves up.
And they've always been kind of hovering right there on the borderline. So I'm going Bo Sox at 10.
Yeah, tie there because I got the Red Sox as well too. They are more. Tanner said that they've been playing really good baseball. They're 8-2 in their last 10. So I got the Bo Sox as well. So they're my number 10 team. So
I'm not used to this Bo Sox. I'm just like, huh? Every time you guys say
Tanner,
it.
we'll go back to you. We'll go back to you. The opposite around the horn here. Who's your number 9 team?
Number 9's the Twinkies. Look, Scott said it right there to begin with, right? Great pitching staff, great rotation, hard to beat, and they can put up runs generally when they need to. That they did have a little dry spell for a little bit there. Not, they're at 29 now.
Hey, we've all gone through some dry spells every once in a while. You know what I mean?
It happens, man, right?
Yeah.
You go through a long season, man. It's warm and hot, so But these guys, I'd say number 9, the Twinkies. So. That's what I got.
Sometimes you gotta find one that's willing to, just get you out of it, But
that's right. Just looking for that one little hit, man.
Yeah. Just a little, It don't gotta be Larry Long. It just short and quick and easy.
Not at all.
Oh, Sam's out of it. I better go to me next.
Your number 9 team.
I don't think he can talk right now, so he better go to me.
Let's go ahead, Scott. Your number 9 team.
My number 9 is the Red Sox. They've surprised me a lot. I mean, their pitching has been really, really solid. Their offenses, they're getting healthy, and their offense is starting to come around, which is a great sign, especially when you're fighting for a playoff spot. When you get a whole lot, the likes of the Angels, the Royals, Angels, Royals, Rangers. Those teams will. I mean, Astros, not Angels. They'll come alive, but they've been solid. And Alex Cora is one of the top 5 managers in baseball, I feel. So having a top 5 manager, having a pitching staff like it is, as long as your offense can score 4 to 6 a game, they'll be fine. So the Red Sox.
I'm going to kill you, Tanner. I'm going to kill you.
Sam, your number 9 team.
I have the Bo Sox here.
Now stop copying me, would you please?
I'm sorry.
Go on your own, would you?
But we are all
you held it up, and I had to zoom in really close.
We are all 2 for 2 on because I like Tanner. I took the team that had a little bit of a dry spell and pumped it. And that was the Twins. So I got the Twins. So at 9. So we've all flip flopped our 8 and 9 team. Sam, we'll go to you. Your number 8 team.
My number 8 team is the Seattle Mariners. I mean, you go ahead and book your. Oh my God, are you serious? Okay, I'm sorry. Well, maybe we were just later in the year. They're gonna match. I think for the most part.
All right.
Yeah, I have the Seattle. They're 10 games over 500. We have the extended road trip. I don't know what they're going to do with the Astros or whatnot, but hey, these guys, they're doing it. They're getting it done. They had a great road trip recently, and Seattle's making it happen. So,
Scott, your number 18.
Seattle's my number 8.
Woo!
And right now, their offense is inconsistent, to say the least. Their pitching has been really good. The question I have with the Mariners is can they hold off the Astros and Rangers? Because the Astros, they're going to make a charge. The Astros are doing it right now.
You know what I mean? They're coming.
The Astros are on the
real hard
roll for them. The Rangers are also going to make a run here too as soon as they get totally healthy. So I think their pitching can sustain them for the year. It's just their offense. I have a lot of questions with their offense. Julio Rodriguez has struggled, but they're doing enough to win, and they're doing enough to lead that division. So you got to give them respect. You got to put them in the top 10 because they're leading the division. So they're 8 for me.
Yeah.
Tanner, your number 18.
Number 18 for me, guys, Atlanta Braves. So it's in the top 10 for me.
I swear to God, this is it. I got the 8 Braves too. We have matched.
You and I
told you this was going to happen.
If you're on the left side, if you're on the left side of the screen, we got the same, and if you're on the right side, I mean, yeah, I got the Braves.
I mean, they're struggling with injuries still. They still got more guys in and out this month. They had I think 4 different guys go in and out in the IL in this month alone. So, key guys. Yeah, so they're still hovering in the plus differential. They're still hovering in the winning side of things too, as well. And they just continue to just grasp and hang on, for God's sake. So for me, I have them right there where they are. So
yeah, I have them too. Tanner, we'll go to you.
That was the coolest bunt I've ever seen, Tanner.
Your number 17. If you say, is it the Mariners, Tanner? You got the Mariners at 7?
I do.
I do too.
This is awesome.
I don't know much for Seattle. Like, yes, they're leading their division. They're not the best team to do it. And you got Houston right there sneaking up. Rangers are playing really well too. Like, it's not going to be. They have to continue to dominate. They
probably won't be on this list next month, but they're on the list this month.
If they continue to dominate at home, they'll still be on the list. It's just a matter of is it 9 or 10. So, but they got to continue to dominate at home here to go into play. I have Seattle at 7.
Click.
Yeah. Sam, who you got at 7?
I have Grishman's Atlanta Braves at 7.
Scott, you do too?
Scott. Oh, sweet.
How do you have a disagreement?
Nope.
It's been a little rocky for them. They seem to be pulling themselves out of the depths. Not as good as Boston per se, but Austin Riley's really showing up here. So I'm putting the Braves at 7. You guys think they're going to make a push? Anybody feel it?
I don't know. I don't think they're catching the Phillies. I do think
no. They're
catching the Phillies, but you don't want to be the number 1 seed in the MLB playoffs. You don't want to be the number 1 seed. You're a wild card team. You have a great chance of winning the thing. So
yeah.
They've proven the last 2 years that you don't want it. Like Tanner said, you don't want to be number 1.
Usually it's the Phillies that are the wild card team, and the Braves are the 1 seed. And
yeah.
The
Braves got out in the first series.
Tanner, why are your guys swinging at everything this guy throws? I don't get it.
Because of the
Scott, who is your number 17?
Oh.
It's the Brewers. It's the Brewers, and they don't they don't have a lot of outstanding stats, but what they have is a solid team. And in that division, that's enough to win that division. Willie Adames is leading the way with 13 home runs. He's got 54 RBIs. Willie Peralta, of all people, have 112 strikeouts so far this year. That's unexpected. I didn't see that coming. So they're the mark of a team, and Christian Yelich is gonna ramp it up here pretty soon, I think. So I think the Brewers are gonna win the Central. To be honest with you, I think they're just good enough. Yeah. They're good enough to outlast and beat every team in that division. So Brewers are my 7th.
We'll go back to you for your 6th team. It's
the Braves. And I think the Braves are
about ready. Braves. I want the Braves to 6. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm in the mindset that the Braves are going to make a run at the Phillies here. I think the pitching has started with Fried and Sale and more.
They're 8 games back. That's just a lot. It's a lot of ground to make up.
I agree. I think they're going to make a run and get it down to 3 or 4 here at some point in August. I don't think they're going to overtake the Phillies, but I think they can make a run. Their offense is starting to come around a little bit. So I don't think the Braves are dead by any means, but I don't expect them to win a division. I do expect them to make a run at the Phillies before the season ends. So they're my number 6.
Sam, your number 6 team.
Milwaukee Brewers, even though I think their batting coach is juicing them.
Sam, did you switch one? 6 and 7 because I took the Brewers at 7 and the Braves at 6?
No, I promise you, it's a Google Doc.
I got Brewers at 6 as well.
Okay,
Tanner, who you got at 6?
Well, I think we're in the season, right? We're in the thick of it, so I think stuff is just starting to stack. I think that's just how
it's mellow now.
No, I'm with you guys. The Brewers are 6. They got rid of that Philly series that we knew was going to be a lot there, but they've competed and I think won most of the. I can't remember. I know they lost a couple of series, but they've competed and be able to at least get a game or two in each series in this month here. So
they're 6-4 in their last 10,
and they're I think they're number 3 in home runs as well. And like there's even their bullpen. I think it's the 3rd or 4th or 5th most efficient in the MLB. So they're starting their bullpen to start games. So these guys are doing everything they can to try to get innings from guys to go into play, which worries me later, coming in July and August, especially September. So we'll have to see where they're at. But right now the Brewers, they continue to just win and, and continue to play the hard ball. So
second longest, they have the second longest winning streak in the National League at 4 games.
Yeah. So,
actually, tied for the first.
They continue to dominate the division. So that's what you got to do. Be consistent. So that's how you get in. But I got them at 6.
That's what I do too. Tanner, we'll go to you. Your number 5 team.
Number 5 team. Even though they just took the division lead tonight, I'm going to go Baltimore as my number 5 team. They have struggled mightily. It feels like. Offensively, when it matters the most, when you really need those clutch hits, they've also struggled along with I believe the bullpen side of things. I don't think it's necessarily the rotation, but I think the bullpen side of things here. So, with that being the case, and they've, like I said, they just took the division lead. I'll give them that, but they've been really up and down this month here since we've done our power rankings last. So I'm going to go Baltimore at 5.
Sam,
I have Baltimore as well. I just kind of feel like even watching them when the Guardians play, that they are pretty. I mean, we were pretty matched there for a while. The score wasn't very far or anything like that. But then they would do really weird things, like he was talking about pitching, like throw in like an easy heater to Jose Ramirez.
They've been getting up a lot of runs. The O's
yeah, but like it's like, okay, hey, you need to walk Jose Ramirez. No, you're going to give him right down the middle. Okay, well, sure, And it was just kind of like that for the series. So, but I still think that is a very talented team. I have them at 5.
Scott, your 5 team.
The Orioles as well. I think the problems in the back of the bullpen, and they've been solid, but not really solid, really great. They've been okay consistently. I just think their offense is putting up a lot of runs, and their pitching's giving up a lot of runs. They don't have a lot of – after Corbin Burns, it's really sketchy. So,
the actor? Oh, sorry.
No, not the actor. So they're my number 5, Baltimore.
Your guys' my number 5 team is probably y'all's number 4 team, but my number 5 team is the New York Yankees. The Yankees, I mean, as bad as the O's have been, the Yankees have been worse. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They were in first place and no longer in first place. They've lost 4 in a row. So the Yankees, Garrett Cole needs to. Is he back?
Yeah, he's back.
He's
okay.
back. Yeah,
He had a rough outing. Rough outing last time.
Yeah. They need him to get back to being Garrett Cole. And they're a team that when they're hot, when those bats are hot, they can beat anybody. But then sometimes they go cold. Bats go cold, and right now they're kind of cold for the Yankees. So I got the Yankees as my number 5 team. I'll go ahead and give my number 4 team, and that was the aforementioned Orioles that you guys all had as your 5 team. So Scott, we'll go to you. Your number 4 team.
It's the Dodgers. And the reason it's the Dodgers is because my feeling is they've had some good guy. Their offense is Shohei Ohtani and hope other guys step up.
Yep.
And they're all banged up, though.
They're all and Mookie's out for another probably 4 to 6 weeks. That's what Dave Roberts said. But Shohei is carrying that team right now in offense. He's got an RBI in 11 straight games. He's hitting a bunch of home runs. And everybody else is just like Freddie Freeman's doing what Freddie Freeman does. The bottom of their lineup is not very good. Pitching staff is glass now, and that's about it for them. Their starters. They have a lot of mix and match guys. I'm just not sold on the Dodgers. I just think they could be out in the first round of playoffs this year again.
They could.
So, yeah.
Kershaw's not coming back. Like he had a
setback in the minors.
Back in the minors, yeah.
I don't know what it is with the Dodgers, but their lineup is sketchy to me, and their pitching staff is. I just not sold on they're going to last the whole season. So, Dodgers are my number 4.
You're number 4.
I am the Dodgers as well. A lot of the same thing that Scott said. There's just no. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to make it.
I got them higher. Tanner, you're number 4 team.
Dodgers as well. If you're telling me that you thank God you had the White Sox series this last week.
Yeah.
Or the last 3 days. Thank God you had the White Sox series because you struggled against KC. You lost multiple guys in this month here. You couldn't close out a sweep somehow to Colorado, for God's sakes, and you got lucky on one as well. Los Angeles couldn't close that out in 2-game series. You lose to Texas in the series. You lost the Texas series and at home. Like, what are we doing? So, and of course, it'd be the Yankees. But overall, it's very inconsistent, kind of odd series that you had to have those wins and sweeps this month here. You didn't complete it, and then you lose guys in that case as well. So, thank God that you had Colorado, LA, and the White Sox this last 2 weeks. Otherwise, you'd be probably sitting at 6 right now. So, I'm going to stick them at 4. So,
again, my number 4 team was the Orioles. Tanner, we'll go back to you. Your number 3 team.
It's the Yankees. Yankees are my 3. Why? Because they still have the best freaking team. They got the best rotation. It's one of the best teams out there.
They really
are. I know. It's a struggle. It's a struggle month for June, right? It's bad. You got the Dodger series. You got, luckily you beat the crap out of KC for most games. Boston you struggled against. Baltimore you got swept. Atlanta you lost the series. New York, Toronto right now 9-2. Look, it's a rough time, but you're still the most talented team in the freaking MLB, and I'm still putting you in the top 3 because you are the most talented team in the MLB. You got Toronto this series here to end the month. All you need is 3 more games to win the series. You make up for a lot of that garbage that you did earlier this month, and you enter July with some promise. So I'm going the Yankees still, just due to the promise and what they really are. I mean, they just lost the divisional lead, dude, and they had a horrendous June, and they just lost the divisional lead. They're still one of the best out there.
I mean, you could still. I have them at 5, and I'd still say
I hate the Yankees. They're still one of the best out there.
I also have them at 3, though. I also have them at 3.
The reason why, and I agree with a lot of Tanner's stuff, and I'll add on to it. You struggled these last 2 weeks, and you just lost the division lead to the Orioles.
Who you got as 3 then, Scott? You got the Yankees at 3 too?
I got the Yankees at 3. I just think that because you struggled so bad, and you just lost the division lead, you're not going to keep struggling. You're obviously going to play a lot better. Rizzo comes back, Cole gets like Cole, they'll be fine. He'll be fine.
It'll be fine. But I mean, I had to. That's the reason I dropped him to 5 last month we had him at 2. I dropped him to 5 because of the June swoon that they had. You know what I mean? They're not
The only
playing
reason,
the
only reason they're at 3, Nick, is because I don't believe in the Dodgers right now. I have less belief in the Dodgers than I have in the Yankees, and the Orioles have been struggling until the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. Like I'm just saying, I'm saying why I got them at 5 and why.
Yeah.
So my number 3 team is actually Mr. Sam's Guardians. I got them at 3.
Burn on Big River.
Struggling just a little bit. They're 4-6 in their last. Never mind. Take that back. That was the other team I wrote down. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The run differential is plus 105. They have 51 wins, which would be tied for the American League. So I got the Guardians at number 3. Scott, we'll go to you for 2 team.
It's the Miami Marlins at number 2.
No,
I just
That's what I had, man.
To go on this 35-game winning streak and take over the division lead.
Tanner Scott, closer of the year, right there.
No,
Hey, he's about to be a different closer for a different team.
Yeah.
Number 2
so.
is
Royals.
number 2 is
come on, baby, come on.
The Cleveland Guardians are number 2. They're one of baseball's best teams right now.
Stephen Kwan.
Not great. When Shane Bieber went down, we all thought, oh, there go the Guardians. They're going to be in serious trouble. And their offense with Naylor and Jose Ramirez, who's an MVP candidate, has risen. And they're in that. They're totally controlling that division right now. And I think they're going to stay there for the whole year. I think they're going to win that division. They're that good. And they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. So my number 2 is the Cleveland Guardians. Close number 2 to number 1. But that's who's number 2, Cleveland.
Sam, number 2 team.
Cleveland Guardians. Listen, they have just been fantastic. I think Vokes is probably going to get manager of the year if this keeps up. I mean, they play aggressive, and they're getting like so much great play from it really is swing at everything, Tanner. It really is.
It is.
Sorry, the ump is horrible today. I think it's more of like, you have Jose Ramirez and everything, but Scott and I have talked about this before. Stephen Kwan is just getting on base constantly. Yeah. Josh Naylor, if Ramirez is off, Josh takes care of it. If Naylor is off, then Freeman takes care of it. And they Jimenez at second base. I mean, he's won the Golden Glove twice. He could possibly win it again. It's amazing. They do an excellent job. And it's a complete surprise, and it's a wonderful surprise to fans like me who did not expect this to happen.
Was Kwan injured? Was he out for a while?
Yeah, he missed 10 games. He had a hamstring. He went for a dive, and it looked very awkward. But he came back.
He's hitting 375. 375. I didn't think he was that high.
He's just if it's strike 2, he's going to hit it somewhere. That's just how it is.
Tanner, who's your number 2 team?
Golly.
I'm going with a team. Number 2 teams for me is a team that lost 9 games in June. It's a team. There's one team better than this team in June so far. It's a team also that has lost 2 series back to back in June. Okay. This team, I don't know if you guys ever remember me talking during the NFL season. Basically, if it was we would do pick'ems and AFC versus NFC team, and by default you just go AFC. Well, yeah. This is a similar situation here. It's an AL team versus an AL team, and by default you go AL. So the Philadelphia Phillies are my number 2 team. They lost 9 games. You lost back-to-back series. Like, thank God you won San Diego, but you lost.
Yeah, you got the Yankees.
Series?
You got the Yankees. You didn't dock the Yankees.
Does that mean I'm
the Yankees are probably worse?
But the Phillies play in the NL right now, and who the hell is competing with the NL? The only team that's competing right now really is the Brewers and the Dodgers, and they swept the Brewers. You lose to the Bo Sox. You lose to the Baltimore series. Back-to-back prove it. That's prove it series against the AL, and you couldn't do it. And it's very disappointing there. But you can beat within your own division, right? It's just the same thing with the NFC this past NFL season. So, and they lost to Miami tonight, 7-4. Get out of here! Like, that's disgusting. At home, disgusting. And you didn't beat Detroit either. That's another AL team that they refused to beat. They beat every NL series. They won it. They couldn't win one series in June against the AL team. The Philadelphia Phillies, they are great. They are dandy, but they have to be in their same division to win a series. They're number 2 in my list.
Whew, man, brought the heat there.
Oh, Ted, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, Ted.
My number 2 team.
You bastard.
My number 2 team is a guy that you guys kind of shit on. Is none other than the LA Dodgers. You guys are still over here talking about how you don't believe them. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they don't have Yodamano. They don't have Mookie Betts. They're still fine. The point of winning is winning ball games. That's the point. That's the whole damn point. I don't care what your lineup looks like. You're still winning. They're 8-2. Run differential 120. They're 51-31, which is second in the National League in all of baseball. So in the National League. So I'll take the Dodgers as my number 2 team. So Tanner, we'll go back to you because I feel like the rest of us got the same number 1 team. So who's your number 1 team?
Gotta be
currently right now. It's the Kansas City Royals who are beating up on the Cleveland Guardians. But anyways, no, it's the Guardians, guys. Hottest team in baseball in June. Let's be real. They played a bunch of 2-game series, which is weird. But overall, when they
what is that about?
I hate those so much. By the way, 2-game
because I'm so sorry that hurt you, Alan. Heaven forbid I get some sunshine.
This is a team that doesn't lose series. They don't. They might split, but they don't lose series. They lost against Toronto. That was the only series they lost. It was the AL team as well. Anybody else they had to play, they won the series. And now they're against, of course, their competition here against the Royals, who are in desperation mode right now to stay alive, getting an All-Star break. So, Guardians hottest team in baseball. They've really come alive here, and they continue to just score runs and keep alive here at the bat. So, and they're pitching, and their bullpen's been really great as well. Keeping it low, keeping out of those dangerous
situations. I would tell you that the Houston Astros are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 7 in a row.
They're not in my top 10. So Cleveland Guardians are the hottest team in baseball right now. The Houston Astros are slowly creeping up the pipe to my toilet. So they'll get there. So, but no, right now Cleveland's my number 1 team, guys.
Clip it.
Guardians are my number 1 team, despite how much I didn't want Sam to enjoy it. So,
come here, Tanner. Come here.
Sam, who's your number 1 team?
My number 1 team is the Phillies. I wanted to put my Guardians there, but I didn't want to be all, woo and everything. So thank you, Tanner. I'll appreciate it. But my number 1, my number 1 team's the Guardians. Ha ha. But so Phillies is mine for obvious reasons.
Let's go. One more.
Scott?
It's the Phillies. I mean, the best team in baseball right now.
The best team in the NL.
Best team in the NL right now.
If the record ended today, though, they would have the best record in all of baseball. So,
you have the best record in baseball when you say majority of your games in the NL. So
they have shown all year long, the Phillies, that they are the best team. But Cleveland is right on their heels. It's really close right now. If Philadelphia goes,
let me ask you this though, and I know power rankings. I always look at power rankings as like the past and the current. Like kind of mesh them together. But if the season, let's just say these teams played each other in the World Series tomorrow, who are you picking? I'm picking the Phillies.
Guardians.
I'm probably picking the Guardians. It's close.
There's no way.
It's going to be a 7-game series, and it could swing either way. But if the Guardians would have beat Zach Wheeler in game 1,
I would love to watch that series. I would love to watch it. But I think the Guardians win.
If the Guardians would have beat Zach Wheeler in game 1, then I think the Guardians win the series. That's just my opinion. If you beat the best pitcher on the other team's staff, you have a serious leg up to win the series.
I can't do it, and maybe it's there's just too much history with the Guardians and the Indians that somehow, some way they always choke it out. So
wow,
guys,
so do the Phillies.
Give me the Phillies. If they were to play in a 7-game series, I'm taking the Phillies.
The Phillies choke it out too. They couldn't
the Phillies have won a World Series more recently. The Phillies have won. And have been there and done that. This Guardians team hasn't been there and done that.
I will understand if you see this as a biased take, but I promise you this is purely from somebody that just likes baseball. This team feels different. I don't know if they are different, Nick. I'm not saying they are, but this team feels
I get it. I've been there. I've been in that situations too, where it's like, this is the team. This is this team feels different. But nonetheless, I'm still skeptical.
The one thing I will say is the Braves have shown the last 2 years, if you're the number one team in the National League, you don't go very far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if the Phillies will take that mindset, because they will be waiting on whoever the wild card team is to win. And that's what the Braves' problem was. They were just waiting.
With the new format, I don't like how the number one seed, it's almost a punishment to be the number one seed, because you wait almost a week to play. And to me, that there's in baseball is the most rhythm rhythm. Like, what I mean? You see the ball every day, live pitching. Like, that's the one sport I feel like that's why they play every day, because like you need to play every day for rhythm, for routine. So you can't just show up. It's not like football and NFL to show up on Sunday. You know what I mean? Not so you don't need quite that routine like baseball players do as far as hitting the ball and things like that. So it almost is a punishment when you are the number one seed, because you get almost a week without playing, because it's the best of 3 that first round. So
I agree. I mean, the Braves are a perfect example of it the last 2 years. The won the World Series, and then last year they couldn't get out of the first round because they were just sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
and it killed them.
Neither side, right? Like neither side could.
And then if you're the wild card, you win,
thing,
you get some momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why you're playing. You're going. Arizona, look what Arizona did.
Yeah,
that's why if I'm Cleveland, I want the Yankees and I want the West team to be the top 2 seeds, so that I'm playing almost right away in the wild card round and gaining some momentum. Yeah, I don't want to be the best record in baseball or each league. I just don't want it. Yeah, I'd freaking throw games down the end of the season just to get out of it. I mean, it may cost me, but I mean,
I aim it out.
I don't know if I'm doing that.
Yeah,
but I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call my bookie and bet on games. Hey, we're losing this game.
Real quick, I was gonna say, Scott, here's some quick UFC gambling bets. We did head kicks and haymakers last night. I'm gonna let's see. I'd put a nice little.
Where's 303? Where's 303?
It's in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's UFC 303. It's on Saturday. I like Alex Pierre at -150. My lock on the card is Joe Pfeiffer at -300. I also like as my dog at +120. The main event, I don't know what the over-under is on the rounds, but I would take the under. Somebody's getting, I think it's probably 2.5, and I would probably take the unders. Usually Alex Pierre and Yuri, somebody's going to sleep. So,
okay, I wrote them down.
Wait, what day is the NHL draft?
Monday,
tomorrow,
Tuesday,
right?
Is it Monday or is it tomorrow?
And I'm looking at.
I don't know.
All the drafts. Wow.
It's usually Friday. It's usually like
on line 1.
It's usually. Hey Sam, how's the debate going? By the way, Trump and
Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday.
Saturday.
So Jim, you get tickets and go to UFC Saturday night, man.
Yeah, I'm texting.
Oh, it's in Las Vegas, the draft. That's right.
Yeah, it's in Vegas. It's right there.
Yep.
Yeah, get Jim to file a report.
Right. Yeah, 2 through 7 begins at 11 a.m. Eastern, so it'd be like 9 o'clock there. So yeah, you might tell him to go to the UFC, man.
Yeah, tell him, bro. Jim. You probably get credentials. Go. full press UFC.
He could actually get in if he probably said, "Hey, I'll write an article on the UFC, give you guys some more pub." They probably Dana White would probably say, "Okay, you're in. You're in." Sam, you want to go UFC on Saturday night? You fly out to Vegas?
He'll probably find a connection. Jim would find a connection during the draft that would get him tickets. So,
absolutely.
Networking, man. You do it.
Real quick, before we get out of here, Blue Jay, this just came across too. Heyman's reporting, not Paul Heyman, but the baseball writer Heyman. Toronto, little to no chance that that the Toronto Blue Jays keep Bichette. Slightly better odds that they keep Vladdy. So
isn't he hurt still?
Come on, Bichette. Come on over.
There is no way Toronto trades Vlad to the Yankees. There's almost no way. No chance.
Give me Bichette.
Because Rizzo's been banged up. He's at the tail end of his career. So
did the Yankees sign somebody in the last couple of days? I think.
I think so.
I thought that's what I read.
I don't recall, man.
The only thing I've seen in New York is the Knicks just crushing it. The Bridges.
Yeah,
man. How about getting McCullers, drafting him late, and then Pacers get Furphy. So, chalk.
Would you have drafted Furphy in front of McCullough? Tanner?
Yeah.
Furphy
for sure. Yeah, Furphy went first. So, McCullers went late to Knicks in the second round, but Furphy for free. That's what I wanted in the T-shirt this year. But I couldn't get it. So.
Murphy Brown, loved that show. It was great.
No, not Murphy Brown. Murphy, who probably should have been drafted at the end of the first round, to be honest.
Murphy sounds like some sort of fancy dog food.
Yeah, I agree. He had the talent to be drafted at the end of the first round. I wish the Celtics had taken him. I would have loved him to see.
Shooter, get a shooter.
Billy Shireman. That's who we get. Then we get some guy from Chicago. So,
Tanner, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
I guess, Buffoon's dropped last night. Go check that out. It was a good conversation there. We talked a lot of Royals, a lot of trading stuff for Royals, and then about the NBA with JJ Redick and stuff, and Bronny, of course, for God's sake. So, talked about that, and then
some headlines on it. I got him.
Tomorrow morning, Basement Brew Fantasy Football. We got the Bengals dropping who to smash and pass on that for your fantasy drafts. If you have fantasy drafts coming up, best balls as well as redrafts. So got some interesting slots in there that I just got done editing. It's already uploaded. Just waiting for it to schedule arrive. So check that out tomorrow morning. It's a really good one. Very interesting. They talked about the third. He talks about the third receiver. Who's that going to be now that Tyler Boyd's gone? Talks a lot about the backfield as well. Now that Joe Mixon's out, but you got Zach Moss and Chase Brown there who could really take advantage of those goal line carries. So go check that out. It's a fabulous piece. And I guess that's all I really got right now.
Sam, final thoughts.
Fanboys Unleashed is coming on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central for you, Scott, just so you know. We actually got some Titans news to talk about, and then we'll start breaking down what we think of other divisions around the league. So Fanboys Unleashed tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central, only on the Let's Talk Sports Network. Only.
I like Miracle Whip in my coffee, by the way, just so you know.
I do not. It tastes awful. I will be taking no bet this year.
None. Newsletter with Alan tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time.
Are you going to talk about me?
It'll be a Bronny James.
Oh God!
Viewership. I'm telling Alan no Bronny James tomorrow, please. That's number one. Number two, back with the LTS show on Monday. And programming note, that's the last show before the holiday. So everybody be safe. Enjoy your July 4th.
Don't get Jason Pierre-Paul hand.
I'm eagerly anticipating the Basement Brood because I've been taking notes on every show that's gone on by Mikey.
Yeah.
So it's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. I'm my draft preparation has started because of the Las Vegas leagues that I'm in, and that's a big part of it.
I'm just wrapping up. I got a few more rounds left of. I'll end up with 25 best ball drafts already finished. So
that's great. That's
a lot. It's amazing.
I got 7. So, that's ramping up. Fantasy football season's ramping up. We're about 10 weeks away from game 1. 10 weeks from tonight, Chiefs Ravens. So
77 days.
I cannot wait.
It's coming. So
I'm so pumped.
That's what I told her.
For our previews and everything that we do here with guests and everything else. But enjoy the weekend, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Please do check out UFC, our Head Kicks and Haymakers UFC 303 preview. We did that last night, so we broke down the whole card and talked about, made some picks. So please check that out. Me and Whit, we crushed it. Other than that, I think me and Whit, I might go ahead.
Before we go, Game 5's on right now, the Celtics Mavericks. Does anybody know how that game? Who's going to win this game?
It goes 7.
Nah.
Does it go 7?
Yeah.
No, go 7. Oh, okay.
Sure. Put your money on Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy money on Dallas. Mortgage money.
But please check that out. I'm going to get actually a hold of Whit. We might be doing Head Kicks and Haymakers on Sunday, the 303 post show, because July 3rd.
Rob Logan.
Yeah, Rob Logan's back too.
Returner, Rob.
Rob Logan is back.
He was supposed to call me the other day. He never did. So I'll have to
he was too busy talking to Alan. How does that make you feel?
You have the trophies from our fantasy league yet?
No, I mean, it's still sitting right here.
Rob texted me. He said, "I don't want to talk to that guy that has 2 baseballs."
I want to have like a whole season, man.
It's hard to part with guys. First of all, Dan Harris sent that specially to me, so it's hard to part with. I thought you were passing it around. I mean, I am going to pass it to him, but
what, like 8 weeks into the NFL season?
I'm also going to get son of a bitch. Okay,
hold on a minute, Tanner. You're going to have to drive to Nick's house and physically.
I do have Rob's address. So I do have that. I just actually got to pick the belt up.
You've got mine too. Just
drive to the and mail it. That's a lot. Okay.
He's not going to send Rob he's not going to send him the belt. He's going to send him a picture of the belt and say,
Rob returns to full-time podcasting for NFL season, and he doesn't have a belt to sport like you freaking did. This is gonna be unreal.
So, Nick, you don't know Star Wars. You don't know Star Wars.
I actually got a couple here. I got this one. This is from another league I won right here. So I thought about this one's kind of not as good as the one Dan sent. So I was like, I'm going to send Rob the shittier one and keep the one that Dan gave.
So Nick, you don't know Star Wars too well, but there's a ruthless bounty hunter named Boba Fett.
And then I also got this. Then I got this one too from another league.
You can't send the WWE one. You can't send that one. It's got to be the fantasy football champion.
So and then I have like the ultimate bad boy. This is the one.
What the hell? What are you accruing belts? What the hell?
Hey, I'm like Kenny Omega, baby. I'm the belt fighter. This is the one. The late great Dan Harris.
With the belt? Do you walk around your neighborhood with the belt on and just show it off?
I just sit around the house naked with all 3 of them and just let the wife check me out. You know what I mean?
All right. I want to hear this Boba Fett stuff from Sam.
Oh, analogy I said? Yeah. So Boba Fett's a ruthless bounty hunter, and they go in there to see this big bad mob boss named Jabba the Hutt, and he basically says,
"Are you calling me a fat son of a bitch?"
Yeah, and so he gets the thermal detonator, and he's like, "I'll blow us up if you don't, I'll blow us up if you don't give me the price I want." And he says, "You're my kind of scum." So, Nick, you are my kind of scum.
I don't know if take that as a compliment or
you should. Ruthless, beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. I love the fact that you don't send him a shitty belt.
Yeah, I thought about it. This one's hard to. It's hard to get rid. I mean, the late great Dan Harris sent this to me and said,
"I hear you.
To be the best heel in the LTS history, I needed a proper belt. So it's hard for me.
You dishonor your house, dishonor on you, dishonor on your family."
If you're not in love with the football champion one, send him that one.
I mean, I'm gonna send him the real thing. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send him.
It's gonna stay in the LTS family, and nobody's in the league is outside of it. So it's not like it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Rob's just gonna have to FedEx it to the next winner.
He's gonna send it right back to me. That's part of the reason I don't want to give it back to him, because I want to save Rob the money of sending it back to me next year. So I was just like, I'll just keep it and save Rob.
Well, Nick, we hate to tell you this. The league has 2 teams in it, and that's it. You are going to be owner of one team, and the rest of the league is going to own the other team.
I don't like that idea at all.
How much does the belt cost? Let's buy a new one. He's not going to give it.
Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack has great.
I think that's where this one came from. Yeah.
Nick's going to be like, "Hey, where's your money for the StreamYard?" I'm like, "I'm spending on a new belt." Asshole.
Nick, I'm going to send you money as soon as the thing is over. For sure.
All right. Well, that's the show. We'll be back Monday night for one episode next week, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern. Hopefully, we'll have Jim and Jonathan, who are out doing great things, on to talk about all the cool stuff that they're doing. And God help us get us through some sport. I mean, I'm watching a 4-0 soccer game. That's how lame this right now is. Like 4-0 soccer.
I'm watching Game 5 of the NBA Finals right now. That happened like 2 weeks ago. So
there's that.
It's really bad. Really
See
bad.
a friend, tell a friend.
Tanner and I made it.
Collecting the belts of the fantasy. You know what I mean? So, see you guys.
Tell a friend.
Tanner, get that outro.
Hey,
Sam,
you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the Love Shack, baby.
Where's the outro?
I'm heading down.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.